Good day, everyone. Hex Manifesto here, joined again by a lovely panel of participants in today's little Zoom meeting. I'm not going to call it an AR tutorial today. Today we'll be talking about something a little different. We have a special guest with us. Hasn't been on an episode yet, King of Shinies. How are you doing today, bud?
All good, all good. Thank you for having me on today.
You're welcome. King has joined us today. He's going to be doing a little talk/conversation about channel growth for people who want to take or have already taken their AR pictures into the social media world, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Most of us already have, but if you're thinking about it, still be some real useful information in here. We've all had to start somewhere at one point in time, and everyone starts at the same zero that everyone else does, and we all grow different. We all have different ambitions, and so we've all thought about stuff like this before, and today we're just gonna have a nice little talk about it. I'm also joined today, we'll just go left from right, across the top first, by Rhanique, whose name I'm sure I always get wrong. It's the beauty of hanging out with all the European people all the time, being the only American. It's great. Next, we got Pelo, who was on time today, first time ever, by the way.
Yay!
Yeah. We got King of Shinies, and across the bottom left to right again, Ketzchup.
Hello.
Elena, aka ShinyShinx. And Steve, the Bearderson, Pokemon LDNAR.
Yo.
All right. With that, as the introduction, so King, start us off.
Great. So I just thought it'd be really great to just talk about what happens when you've got loads of ideas and you've got loads of pictures that you're putting out, but how do you grow your page? How do you avoid it just becoming you spamming hundreds of photos onto a platform all at the same time? How do you try and get the most out of every picture that you make? What happens when you run out of ideas? What's another way to help invest into your page? And just it's how you grow it without putting any money into it, because I feel like a lot of people have asked me, how have you grown your page? Do you pay for any promotion? And my answer is no, I don't pay for anything. I paid once on one picture, paid £3 to be specific. It didn't really go anywhere. And in today's video, I'll show you exactly what a promotion looks like when you try it, because I tried it and it was a waste of time and a waste of money. But I'll show you how else I grow my page. So I've made a little presentation. So it says host has disabled screen sharing. and I'll just kind of go through some stuff. And hopefully the stuff that I share will help a lot of people. And if it doesn't, it might not apply to you, but let's still try it out. So bear with me, present. So growing your page and your reach. What I mean by your reach is how many people see each of your posts. Now I'll show you, and again, I'll show you examples of everything I'm talking about. I'll show you examples, so it's really clear what I mean by it. But just a few things as a disclaimer, everything I'm talking about is stuff that I've seen work for other people. So once I saw it work for other people, I tried it for myself, but just because it works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. So that's one thing to put out there. The second disclaimer I've got is my page has both shiny content that comes from in-game as well as AR edits and photography. So there's always that thing to bear in mind that if I'm getting a lot of followers, I do also have two sorts of audiences that I'm bringing in. So that's just another thing to bear in mind, that even though I'm having reach, the reach is coming through both the types of posts I'm making. So just a little bit about me. I run a hashtag called Pokemon Crossover. I started this again as a way of trying to connect with other people, which in turn helps you kind of reach more with your page. So the hashtag is very simple. Make an edit that mixes any movie or any TV show and then mixes it with Pokemon, or specifically Pokemon Go. So using AR photography and then using edits to basically mash up with something that you enjoy watching, whether it's a movie, TV show, a book, a story you were told as a child, a traditional folk tale, it doesn't matter. And loads of people have got involved. And I think the importance of, if you're an influencer and you run a hashtag of any sort, it's important to share the content that's being made. So the reason people use the hashtag is because they know that every weekend I'm going to be sharing their work. So this goes back to everything I'm talking about, is how do you increase your page and your reach? It's always going to be a two-way thing. You work with other people, they will give back to you, you give back to them. As long as that circle's going, then people will want to engage with your page. I also started something called AR Collabs, which is essentially me working alongside somebody else in the AR community, and the two of us working together to make something brilliant, to make something that we wouldn't have made without each other. And I'll be going through some examples of those as well. But again, those sorts of posts that I've made, when I show you the numbers that they reach, it's incredible. They've reached like 30, 40,000 people. And that's because it's two people putting their mindsets together. I can make an edit, put it out. Some of them will do really well. But from the ones I'll show you, the ones that did the most well were when I worked with other people. And I've worked with Rhanique, I've worked with Ketzchup, so I can't wait to show you those in the chat as well. Recently, I worked with Grouden8134 to start something called AR Collabs Tournament, which still goes on, which is me trying to say, if working together can make these amazing things happen, then I want to get other people to work together to show off their amazing edits and have a platform to share it. And then again, I would use other people's pictures to keep promoting other people's, like everyone else's work. So it's that constant cycle of, you're doing it, but I'm sharing it, and it's a chance for you to enjoy making something together and being more creative. And in general, with the posts that I sort of make, when I'm writing them, there's usually a title to my posts, and there's usually a story that I tell with it. That's because day to day, that's part of my job, is being a storyteller and a director, and I incorporate that into my page. All of that is, again, will play into the 7 sort of main tips that I have for growing a page. So here's the 7 tips. The first tip is make original content. Most of you guys do that, but there are pages out there in general who want to grow Pokemon pages, who are worried, oh, how do I make myself have a page that's going to grow? I'm going to use loads of infographic stuff that other people make and then put that in my page. And I always say that's not going to grow your page, because people will go back to the source. People are going to go back to the Leak Duck, the Couple of Gaming. If you want your page to be unique, make unique content. Everyone's got their own sort of style of their photography. Each of you guys have your own different styles of photography, and I think that's what counts. And that's what I kind of say to anyone who asks me, like, how do you grow your page? I say, make original content, make your own content, take pictures that tell stories that you wanna tell, that you wanna write about. Because if you're taking it for the sake of it, if you're posting something for the sake of it, then people will see that. They'll see that in your posts. The second tip that I have for everyone, which again, this is a very, very big tip, switch your profile to creator mode and use your insights. I'll go into that and I'll show a physical example of it. But when you switch your profile to creator mode, you unlock the ability to use the insights feature on Instagram, which is absolutely free. The insights feature will give you a chance to see who's your main followers, what part of the world are they from, when are they mostly active. So I know most of my followers, most of them are Americans, and they're usually active at 6 o'clock. So the only time you'll see me make posts on a daily basis would be at 6 o'clock, because I know that's the time I'm going to reach the most people. So unless you've switched to creator mode, you won't see that functionality. So that's another useful tip that I'd say. Once you know that, in order to kind of get your page to grow, you need to kind of work with the Instagram algorithm. Now, there's no way to completely beat it. All you can do is play with the algorithm. You can post at different times to kind of figure out what's the best time, but that's why the insights feature helps. Once you got a time, then you know how often you should post. You should try posting once every other day, or once every day, or once every 3 days. But my suggestion is make it a pattern. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be every 2 days. It could be once a week. But Instagram will notice when you post in a pattern. And when it sees that pattern happening, it promotes that pattern. So there are some people who post 8 posts in a day or 3 posts in a day, and you won't see them reach as much. But if you post just once every day at the same time, and you continue that pattern, you will start to see that the number of people your posts are reaching is going up. Even if it's slightly, it's going up. And I've had my friends like Pro Shiny Hunter try that, and it's worked for him as well, because he's noticed the pattern that Instagram is noticing. So play with the algorithm, and the way to play with it is to have a pattern on how you post. Any questions so far? I know I'm rambling for ages. If anyone wants to say something, feel free to stop me, by the way.
How do you?
Do you schedule posts? Like, do you have any platform to schedule posts, or do you always like?
I've considered apps that schedule posts, but I just try and post myself around 6 o'clock.
Okay, thanks.
But I know that there are apps that can do it for you. So you can type out your caption and everything. You can type out your hashtags, and you can upload your picture on the app, and then it'll automatically upload it to Instagram. I haven't done that, one, because I'm lazy and I won't know what I'm going to post until the actual day. And 2, because I've had some things where Instagram will notice if you're using a second app to post through, and I'd rather just not risk it. So it's up to you. I don't know if they work or not. But I'd say try and find your own schedule that you can post it to. So I know I'm going to be free. I'm going to be done out of work by 6 o'clock. I know I can post around that time. And if I can't, on your insights feature, it kind of shows you a bracket. So it says like 3 to 9, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. It shows you the bracket. So even if I'm not posting at exactly 6 on the dot, it still tells you the peak time. So for me, the peak time to upload is between 6 and 9. So I always try and aim for 6, but you don't have to. You don't have to bang on do it at 6, if that makes sense.
How do you feel about the pattern and the keeping up with your posts versus making original content and content fatigue? Like, if you're just having an off week, how much do you think it hurts? Or should you just power through and just post for the sake of posting at that point, or should you keep true to what you said in tip 1 and
I know exactly what you're saying, because this week of all weeks was the week where that was happening, where I was like, okay, I do not have the energy to edit something. And I don't know, maybe I was lucky that I had some shiny content that I had ready to post, and I had photos that I'd already taken when I went out, which I could just use, and which I were just ready. So that I haven't done any editing this week. And even today, like, I posted the trailer for the AR Collabs tournament. So I kind of got away this week without having to edit anything. But had I not had anything to post, I think I have to risk it and say I don't have anything to post and see what happens to the algorithm. I think at the end of the day, your life and your health is more important than Instagram. And you have to make sure you always put your health first. And just know that that will have an impact on the algorithm. Because that's literally how it is. You see some people who've posted constantly, and then all of a sudden their posting pattern changes, and then their reach has gone down. And that's how cruel Instagram's algorithm is. So yeah, you're right. You got to try and keep that original content going, but at the same time, you've got to know that at some point life will burn you out, and you either got stuff that you can back up and post, or you haven't. So I don't know, tomorrow I don't have any, I'm out of stock, just so you know now. So tomorrow I'll either post something if I feel good, or I won't. But yeah, that's how it is. So moving on to tip number 4 is, it links with the tip number 3, is don't make several posts in a day. Have at least I'd say if you're making 2 posts, have them at 2 different times. And so, for example, I know that I still have a lot of people on a Sunday, and it tells you with insights, again, and when I show you this, it'll make so much more sense. With insights, it shows you like every day on the in the week, Monday to Sunday, and then how many people are on and at what time during those days. So I know on a Sunday I can get away with posting in the afternoon, and I could post something again at like 6 o'clock. That's fine. So I'd still say you want to make more than 1 post in a day. That's fine. Keep them separate, away from each other. Make sure your posts have time to actually be seen by other people. That's like the main thing. If you're making too many posts at once, it could either come off as spammy, and you might have followers go, oh, I don't want to have that much spam on my feed, but also it just doesn't give that single post enough time to reach other people. Which is why I say keep them in a carousel. So if you've got like posts that all kind of link together, if you can swipe through them, that's fine as well. Tip number 5 is this one is the most relevant and the most useful and the most game changing to my page, is use relevant hashtags, ones that are specific to each post you make. So when I see some posts and there's just hashtags like gamer, hashtag Pokeball, and it's got nothing to do with the actual post you're making, like that's not going to reach many people. If you know there's GoFest makeup event and you use that exact hashtag and your post has to do with the GoFest makeup event, that is more likely to reach more people because it's specific. Using the hashtags in the AR community, like PeloFAF or Ash Ketzchup's hashtags, or anyone's hashtags that are being used and then shown to other people, that's relevant. Use those relevant ones. And again, I'll show in the video, I'll show the hashtags that I use, which then links to point number 6, get involved in people's themed, like weekly themes, and get involved by the hashtags set by other people. Like Pokegenics has Color Mondays as his hashtag, and he promotes the work that people make every Monday. If you, again, this is what I'm saying, if you run a hashtag and people are using it, then make sure you're sharing the content that people make, because that's only going to encourage them to use the hashtag more, which in turn brings them back to your page, which then brings more people to see that this hashtag is being used by more people. So then more people get involved, and then the vicious cycle goes on, and it's a good vicious cycle. So yeah, that's point number 6, get involved. When I got involved in weekly themes, and that's probably how people in the AR community even noticed who I was, because I was getting involved in every single weekly theme. And the last point is allow interaction in story posts, reply to comments, and engage with your followers. But I do something cheeky with number 7. If people comment on my posts, I don't reply until a day or 2 after, because what that does is that puts that post back into circulation of reach, because whoever's liked it or commented, that's put that much focus on the post, so Instagram will push it to a certain extent. But then when they see that you're replying to the comments, it puts that post back in the spotlight. Does that make sense? So again, reply. So when I say interaction in story posts, I just have like the simple sort of bar whenever I post a picture, just the bar of like how much you like it. Even something as simple as that allows interaction with your followers. So having polls, having Q&As, like just every now and then having stuff to interact with your followers allows that engagement, allows people to want to keep coming back to your page. So that's kind of the general overview of all of them, and I'm just going to blast through the specifics of each one. So with making original content, I always say find your style. With mine, so what I'll do is if I share my screen now, phone screen mirroring. I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. I'm going to share this. So with each of my my posts, I always have like the top and the bottom to make sure it fits with the picture, so that it's always a square picture. So I know and everyone else knows that's the theme of all my pictures. Like they're always going to fit that square box. I always have like that higher level of contrast in my pictures as well. I always try and go for bright colors wherever possible. So when you scroll through that entire feed, you see that there's a specific style to the posts, as well as having a very clear logo on all of my posts. I'll try and make sure that I've got like my logo on each of my posts. And I think it's important as an artist to try and get yourself a logo, even if it's a simple one, just so that when your posts do get shared, and I'm sure we've talked about this issue plenty of times of people plagiarizing your posts and the bigger pages liking what you've made, so they post it on their own pages and then they grow their own pages, and then we don't get noticed when we've put in the effort. I made another point about collabing with people and how it can reach so many people. Well, this is the collab that me and Ash Ketzchup did, and it reached 43,000 people. And this is what I mean by reach. It's so impressions is the total number of people it's reached, but it's 45,000 people saw it on the explore page. 2,000 saw it from being just followers. 861 saw it because of the hashtags that were used. And then I don't know what the other is. But this is through a collab. So you see, if I show you a normal picture I've made, reaches about 3,000 people. So you see the power that a collab can have. There's some posts that I'll make, which I don't think are going to do incredibly well. It's just a simple post, but they'll reach a lot of people. And the reason why I think this post might have reached a lot of people is because it had a story to it. And this goes back to point number one. What is your style of pictures? Is that I want my pictures to tell a story, every single one. So just that face is enough to tell a story. And I think people will notice that. They'll notice that with every single post that I make, that there's a caption that tells a story, and then there's relevant hashtags. So when I say relevant hashtags, whatever's in the picture is the hashtag I'm using. So I'm using Pokemon Go Enigma Week because that's when the post was made. That's what was going on in Pokemon Go at the time. I used all of like the AR hashtags, so AshK Weekly, Go Snapshot, Pokemon Go. I'd probably throw in Niantic AR as well. And then if I've got specific shinies in the picture, like Shiny Deoxys, Shiny Staryu, I will put them in as well. So all of the hashtags that I use are really specific to the pictures I make. And again, some pictures will do really great, even if they're completely simple and you think, oh, how's it reach so many people? And then there's ones that you put so much effort in and you think, oh, this is going to do really well, but then they don't. And that's just how it is. Some of them will do well, some of them won't. But as long as you're trying to follow that pattern of using the right hashtags, posting at the right time, not spamming your audience, all of those things will help. Collabing with other people, getting involved in the themes. This was a recent one with Pokemon Go Map, hit almost 15,000 people. And then I'm going to show you the one that I actually put money into. So you know what it's like when you put money into something and how it doesn't really go anywhere. Bear with me. It's a Machamp post from a while back, this one. So I thought, let me try and see what happens if I put money into a post, and then it shows you I put £3 to the post. Out of that £3, I got 3 follows. And it says 32% were from the promotion. So it said that roughly about 2,000 people saw it because of the promotion, but only 3 follows. Was it worth it? Probably not. If you're spending £3 for 3 follows, you're going to end up spending an incredible amount of money, and it's not really going to be helpful. I was talking about using the insights feature. That's this one here. Insights will tell you weekly how many, the difference every week between how many people are following you. So I've grown by 1.3% since last week. and it's really specific in terms of like shows you all your posts and the ones that have done the most well. So the top one reached 53,000 people, and then it just goes on, and then you can start to see what are people liking. So at first I was like, oh, people are only enjoying the shiny content that I'm putting out there, but I'm proud to say now that it's mostly my edits that are doing well for my page, and my shiny content is much further at the bottom and isn't doing as well. And I'm happy with that, because I do want my page to be about the original content I'm making. What else was I saying? I think I've answered.
You were talking about, could you show how you mentioned putting it into Creator, putting the actual count? Is there something specifically you have to do?
It's literally the 3 lines at the top. You click them, you click settings at the bottom, and you click account. And then at the bottom, it should say switch to creator account. So I'll just do that one more time. So let's say you're in your profile, 3 dots on the right hand side, press settings, and then click account. So it gives me the option to switch to personal or business. Originally, it said to me, switch to business or creator mode. So as soon as you switch to creator mode, it unlocks the insights feature. And then this is the main thing about the insights feature. Once you know, so I'm clicking the 3rd one down, the total followers, to be really specific on my audience. This will tell you where most of your audience are from, their age range, the gender difference, but the bottom bit is what I need to know the most, which is what anyone should need to know the most, is when are most of your people active. So as I said, for me, it's 6 p.m. If I swap days and swap through each of the days, going through the whole week, as you can tell, most of my followers are active around 6 o'clock. So I will always post around then. You might do this and you might find that it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon for you. So that might be your new schedule, where you schedule your posts. But it's so, I think for anyone growing their page, especially if they want it to be like an AR page, swap to creator mode. It's free. It doesn't do anything different other than give you more access to see this. And seeing this helps you figure out, okay, what works for me. I mean, if it said to me that most my followers were 90% women, I might have to do more to keep them pleased, to try and retain that audience. And again, with the age range as well, I know most of my audience are adults. They're not all children. So again, I know that if I swear or I say anything on my story, it's fine. Like I'm not going to be affecting that many kids, only 10%. But again, so it's just worth using the insights feature.
Have you tried the business account?
No, I tried business account, but it doesn't, and it's got insights as well. And you can try it. I don't think it's much different from creator mode.
Yeah, I think business helps more when you have products for sale, because it'll tell you like how many people clicked on certain products and stuff. And if you're using the like shop part of Instagram, which I don't, but I used to run a business account before creator was a thing, because there wasn't a creator before, and it was literally the same. But I think they separated them so that they can make the business one more oriented towards sales, and the creator one more oriented towards content. So
but yeah, I think this does have, but I'm pretty sure this has some sort of specific insights into like how many people click on certain things. So look, like website taps, it can tell you how many people have clicked that as well. So I don't know the difference between the business one, like how different it is. It probably has like the sales function, like you said, with the shop button, because obviously there's no shop button on my page. I think that's the main thing, that there's a direct link to a shop. But I'm pretty sure like if you had like a link tree, it's the same thing. It still tells you when people click that link tree as well. I think that might be most of what I wanted to show on my phone physically, unless anyone has any other questions about that.
In terms of hashtags, have you got any suggestions on the actual physical amount of hashtags that are best? Because we hear lots of different opinions on what number of hashtags is best to use.
I try and just stay within the limit. So if I need to, let's say, like for example, that's a good question. Let's say, let me be specific. This post over here, there's tons of shinies in there. So I wanted to try and incorporate every single shiny in my hashtags. So I filled out and used every hashtag I could. And this post did fairly well. So I don't think there's a limit on how many hashtags you should use, but make sure they're relevant. So again, like each of these link with the AR hashtags, but then are specific to Pokemon Unova Week. They link with Go Fest because it was at the time, and then they link with the specific shinies in the picture. All I'm saying is, as long as you use hashtags that make sense to your posts, Instagram isn't going to filter it out. I'm pretty sure there is a list of banned hashtags. I don't know what they are. There's a lot of them to do with the makeup community, but there's hashtags that Instagram just won't push anymore, that if you use them, then your post isn't going to get reach. And then I think in general, if you're just going to throw in hashtags like Pokeball, that's just going to get filtered in with other stuff, and your post isn't going to reach as many people as you want it to. So it just goes back to using specific hashtags.
I think I've understood that there's a maximum of 30 hashtags, right?
Yeah, correct.
Do you always try to use all 30?
No, if I'm doing like a big post like this, it's got loads of things. Otherwise, if it's really simple, so with one of the more recent posts, I guess, like with this, I didn't need, like, that's not 30, just looks big because using a hashtag like Mega Charizard takes up a lot of space. But I'm not using all of them, I'm only using what's relevant at the time. I don't try to use 30 all the time. I just try to use what I think is necessary for the picture. Did someone have a question a second ago? Nope. Okay. I'll go back to my slides. So yeah, find your style. Know exactly what sort of style you want. So when you scroll through your own page, you're like, yeah, I can see the color tones. I can see the style on this person's page. And I think once people become your followers, they'll notice that you've got a trend in each of your posts, and it's almost, your trend is almost your brand. It's your style of your posts, and you'll start to like it, and it starts to fit together with all, and your page becomes, so it's not just your post on its own, but your page has an aesthetic to it. Again, that might be something that I just like to have and works for me, but it's what I suggest to any new content creator as well, that have a specific style, and keep that style going. Creator mode. So I've just explained this. How do you get to creator mode? Click the 3 lines on the top right, go to the bottom, click settings, click account, switch to creator mode, and then use your insights. Because once you know what time your audience is on, then you can figure out when you need to post. Any questions about this? Because I'm literally just going to blast through now.
Because of that, to play devil's advocate, I guess, more or less.
Yeah.
Since you're using your insights to know when your current audience is already active the most, wouldn't you want to maybe sometimes post outside that to get, because you already have that audience, like if there's other people who are on at other times that aren't seeing you because you've solidified, so you say like yours is 6 o'clock, so you know the people who look at your stuff are mostly on at 6, but now you've also, though you're appeasing them, have now alienated people who might be 12 hours different.
You're right, and I've considered it and I've tried it, and when I posted outside of the 6 o'clock range, it didn't reach as many people. But so I started to go, okay, do I want my post to continually reach more people, or do I want to try and reach people at different times of the world? And what I've sort of taken the juggler as is, if the post is gonna stay when I say more, like when you want more reach, your post goes on the explore page. The longer it stays on the explore page, the more people will see it, and the more people around the world are likely to see it because it stays on that page. So it doesn't matter what time you're posting. It doesn't matter what time you've originally posted. The point is, if you post at a time where it's reaching a lot of people, and in the chance that you hit the explore page, that's the goal. You hit the explore page, that's where it's going to go viral. That's where most people are going to see it. So if I'm posting at a time where it's not reaching a lot of people, it's not going to make it to the explore page. That's how I've seen it. I've tried to post outside that time. It reaches like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. Keep it consistent at 6 o'clock, then pretty much every post gets between 5 and 15.
Gotcha. So you're more just using your audience to actually, you're having your audience support your content in the hopes that it gets to that explore page. And so as opposed to posting at other times to get, because I've done the same thing. I've posted outside my normal time, and that individual post doesn't do as well. But if I look at it, I'm like, well, maybe even though this post only got a quarter reach than a regular post, maybe that's a quarter new people, like a quarter totally new people.
And I completely agree. Like the chance is, what I could always do is try and change the pattern completely and post every day at 1 o'clock instead, when I got the least amount of people, to see if that's going to bring in a whole new bunch of people. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, what I risk doing is the people who'd normally see it at a certain time will miss it, and then there's a chance you'll lose those followers, or you'll lose that reach for a long time. Yeah. And it's pretty much the same as starting all over again.
It's almost like you have to cultivate a whole second account.
Exactly.
For a different time zone. And then once you have them, be like, by the way, just join this other account instead.
Exactly. But I think that's the thing. The ultimate aim is to keep your post alive for the longest time, and you do that by having everything in place to give it the most amount of reach. So and then that goes back to the original point of why you shouldn't try and post too many things at once. Is make one good post and give it the time to live on Instagram and hope that it reaches more people. And that is done. And I feel like that one epic post is often done when you work with somebody else and you collab. And although like some of my posts do really well, like I said, the posts of mine that I've done the most well have been when I've collabed with other people. And I'll be grateful for that, which is why I always encourage other people to get involved in other things and collab with other people, because you're challenging your own creative style, and you're also both giving each other a chance to get an additional amount of reach. So yeah, that's with that one, using relevant hashtags. So when you're trying to think about what's the best hashtags to use, ask yourself, in the game right now, what event is going on? Can I create a post for that current event? So for example, Unova Week's going on. I'll make a post to link with Unova Week. So I know that the hashtag's automatically going to be relevant at that time. It's going to be something that's going to be pushed by people like Couple of Gaming and LeakDuck. The reason I can figure out what's the actual hashtag to use is mostly by looking at their pages. They have affiliations. I don't know if LeakDuck does, but I'm pretty sure Couple of Gaming has affiliations with Niantic. So as soon as they post something and I see that they're using a particular hashtag, that's the hashtag I'm going to use. So I'm rarely making up my own ones. I'm usually going with the one that's set by the big people, if that makes sense. And then again, ask yourself, what's in your photo? Use that as a hashtag. Which artist would I like to link it to? Use that as a hashtag. Is there a AR weekly theme going on? You make sure that hashtag's in there. So again, it's following what's going on to make sure it's as relevant as possible. And that's honestly changed the sort of reach of my pages. When I noticed I was just putting in hashtags like hashtag Pokemon Go, hashtag Pikachu, hashtag Eevee, and there was no Eevee or Pikachu in my post. And it was irrelevant, and then it wasn't reaching anyone because those aren't the hashtags that anyone was looking for at the time. So that's what I mean by, as long as you try and use the most relevant ones, it'll push your post. And then what was I saying? Yes, done. Get involved. So AR community is growing, but we are each other's biggest fans. That's the biggest ethos that I think the whole of the AR community has, is that we support each other with these tutorials, with supporting each other's hashtags, with supporting each other's content, sharing each other's work. We are each other's fans. So when one of us is hosting an idea or hosting a theme of the week, get involved, because you're supporting them by supporting their hashtag, but you're also making a whole album of photos for that hashtag, and other people will look at them and will go, oh, I want to get involved in that, I can do that. And the reason I know that is because that's how I've come through, because I saw other people do it. I saw Pokegenics make all these edits, and I'm always like, how are people doing it? Or is every single person on Instagram like a digital media consultant, knows all the stuff? And then I pick up an app on my phone and realize I just can cut out a Pokemon myself. So, and then I think that's the thing. We are teaching people how to do those things. We're inspiring each other, so get involved. So, and that's what I say to anyone who's new and upcoming, get involved. And that's how people like us will notice them. And that's how people like us will share their work. And I feel like one of the most successful hashtags is Color Mondays. It's such a great and easy theme and hashtag to play with. It's so easy. Pick anything you want, recolor it, and anyone can get involved with that. And then Pokegenics does his bit by sharing the work that people make, makes the hashtag successful, shares people's work, everybody's reach goes up. Same with No Filter Fridays as well. And then yeah, everyone else has got their own hashtags, and again, that's what I suggest, is if you could run your own hashtags every now and then, share the work that people are making on it. And then yeah, I think whenever there's competitions, tournaments, that you can get involved with, just get involved. That's the biggest thing. If you want your page to grow, then give a reason for people to see your stuff. Blasting through, interact with others. So this is with your own post. How do you have like polls on your story, I'm calling it a like meter. I don't know what it's called, but the bar that people can just put up and down. Use Q&As. You might find them annoying, you might find them useful. When I say you might find them annoying, you might find them annoying when you see other people's stories and there's like 36 Q&A posts that you're trying to get through, which might be annoying for you, but then I guess for like the people who genuinely want those answers, they'll get them. I try not to do them often, but every now and then, there's nothing wrong in that. Again, what I said earlier was reply to your comments, and if you want to be cheeky, you want to keep your post in the loop for a while, reply a little bit later. And then whenever I make a post, I share it on my story, cover it a little bit so you can't see it properly, so you have to click on it to look at it properly. I don't know if that works. That's what I saw everyone else do, so that's what I've been copying ever since I saw people do it. And then, this is what I want to show you, was give people a reason to interact. So that first post, top left, I set the question, who do you think will win? The post got tons and tons of comments, and the post reached 50,000 people. The reason it reached so many people was because the question was there, who do you think would win? And people wanted to interact. So when you make a post that literally begs a question that people are intrigued to answer, you keep in the lifeline of that post up. The second post, top in the middle, top middle, was the collab that I worked with Ash Ketzchup on. I put a green Dratini. Obviously, everyone knows that's not what the color it is. Half the comments are, Dratini is not green, Dratini is not green, why have you got a green Dratini? This doesn't make sense. There's just loads of hate, but it's a reason for people to comment because there's something strange that doesn't make sense, but it's giving people a reason to comment. That goes the same for the Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is supposed to be pink. You've got a fake Aerodactyl there, but it's giving people a reason to comment. Bottom in the middle, this is when Raikou and Entei were first released. These are unedited, well, edited in the sense that a filter was put on, but they weren't like cut out or anything like that. They were just two pictures put together as a collage. this happened on the during their release, and I can't remember what I asked as a question, but this posted really well and got loads of comments because it was posted at the direct time that these two were released. And again, if you post at the right time, you post during an event, it's going to reach a lot of people. Top right was a collab that I did with Hazel Crocus. It did really well because it had to do with a lot of environmental factors, and it was posted on World Oceans Day. Again, this then reached a completely different community of people who don't even play Pokemon, had comments about how I've shown that me and Hazel Crocus showed the sort of difference between the two types of oceans that there are, the ocean that we want and the ocean that unfortunately we have to cope with. Because it was posted during a national sort of thing, it reached out to more people. It gives more reason for people to comment. And the last one was the collab that I did with Bijamanen. And the reason that one got comments was mainly because people were confused with what the pinkish creature in the water was. Most of us would straight away say that's Kyogre, but just because of that level of ambiguity in the post, it gave people a reason to comment. So I go back to my point is when you make a post, if you ask a question in that post, or you post something that links with a real life event going on, it's going to do well because it's done at a relevant time. It's using the relevant hashtags. It's giving people a reason to comment. So I'm going to end by going back to the 7 tips that if you use these, then hopefully they will work. Doesn't matter how big or small your page is, because you can only get bigger by following each of these. And mostly they're to do with working with other people in the AR community and getting involved. And just a disclaimer that I've got 2 types of audience, and it worked for me, but it might not work for you, but I'm just putting out there. I think that's it. That's all from me.
Talking about story posts, I don't want to directly throw her under the bus, but I will. Mythical, she likes to always, like you had the bullet point in there about you post and then you post a story about your post, linking. Yeah. She will not always, she definitely needs to do it more, will repost the same story at night. How do you feel? Do you think that affects?
What do you mean? I'm confused. As in,
so like,
she'll
post in the morning, she'll post the picture, she'll put the story post that has the link to the picture like we all do. And then later in the evening, she'll just do another story post. She basically posts the same link to the story again. And we'll say something like, for the night crew or for the people on the other side of the world or whatever. Because the way Instagram stories work, you have everyone's stories across the top, but the first person story you see is the most recent person who posts a story. So like and I'm really bad at this because I don't love posting stories. So all that stuff I know should be bad about it. I do it when I post my post and that's it. And I feel like, so I've shot my shot. Like there's my post, there's my story. If someone doesn't click on that and see my story within like the next 30 minutes to an hour, like so many other people they follow are going to post stories that my story has now been buried deep down in dark Instagram land that will never see the light of day. So
that's also affected by you see first the stories of the people you interact the most with. So if you're coming after not being on Instagram for 3 hours, then you'll see first the people that you usually click your stories with. So it's not like you get buried necessarily all the time.
I mean, I don't have an answer for that. I don't repost. I'm pretty much like you, Hex, that I shoot my shot. If they see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't. I don't know. I mean, I guess there is a chance that obviously if you post it on your story again, it'll be brought forward and people will see it. And I guess you could try it. I don't think there's any harm in trying it. I mean, because it's happened 2 different times, I wouldn't go, oh, it's spammy either. So yeah, I mean, for me, I just haven't done it. I'm content with if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. It's life.
I was just wondering if you had ever run into any
Nah.
rumors or words around like, you know, Instagram noticing that, and then like, you know,
Nah,
how they like to not be nice to us. Like, oh, this person's just sharing the same post like 3 times throughout the day on the same story. If they're just like, forget it.
no idea about that.
Anyone else? Questions? Comments?
There was something I wanted to bring out about the hashtags discussion, because there are 2 different things. There's what you said, what's in your photo, use that hashtag. And then there's a completely different thing, I think, that is which people do you want to reach, use that hashtag. And an example of that would be, for example, using the hashtag GoSnapshot in a picture that is not GoSnapshot. So which, and where do you set the bar and everything?
Well, for me, do you know what? It depends. Like if I'm lazy and I'm copy and pasting, like for example, I've got all of my AR hashtags that I'm going to use. And then I know that the rest of them have to be specific to the photo. So I'll copy the AR ones. And sometimes there's ones that are like Niantic AR that I've forgotten to take off when it's an edit. And then there's photos where it isn't an edit. And I'll still have like all the hashtags in it. But I don't think it makes a difference if you got one of them, because it still links to the AR community. Like if it's an AR photo or even if it's an edit, it still links to that sort of community, and it's still relevant to at least the type of like photos that you make as an artist.
But as I see it, there are certain hashtags that are much more relevant than others. Like you can use all the authors ones, everyone's, but people barely look at them in a weekly basis sort of thing. So it's like mainly the big hashtags, usually the official ones like GoSnapshot or not even Niantic AR. I don't think people look at that one. But there are certain bigger ones that if you want your picture to be there, even though it doesn't match the theme, but you can use it, but it's, you know, it's...
I mean, it's what, like, there's nothing wrong in it. For example, can you tell me a picture that you think you'd use GoSnapshot, but there's no GoSnapshot?
Where when the background is not the background from Pokemon Go, that's not GoSnapshot, for example.
I mean, I guess you could argue though, but that you still got the AR photo from GoSnapshot though, right?
Yeah, but there's the limit is when you change the background. Once it's not the background you were seeing through your phone camera, then you're not using Niantic AR technology to do the picture, and you know.
That's true.
It's a whole nother fun argument.
I know.
but I understand what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, and just make it more blatant. Like some people might just post like a screenshot of a shiny. I mean, I'll just use what I'm seeing on my computer next to me. Just like maybe they just caught a shiny Charizard and they'll still just use like GoSnapshot.
Yeah, so that annoys me.
Exactly.
That annoys me.
That's my point.
It's got nothing to do with photography at all. See, like, I'd say like if you had an edit and you used GoSnapshot in your edit, I'd still count it as part of the AR world. So I'd be like, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess that's personal choice.
In a picture, it's irrelevant.
It's annoying to us as creators because we work so hard to. But like what ShinyShinx is saying, like
it makes it
Instagram doesn't stop that picture from going into that hashtag. So like maybe you did catch a cool shiny and you don't have a lot of followers. You want people to see it. If you used hashtag GoSnapshot, it still gets thrown into
exactly
hashtag GoSnapshot page because Instagram doesn't have any.
And that one has a big flow of people looking at it all the time. So
it's like hashtag nature is a huge hashtag, and you can put it on whatever you want. And I mean, that, and then that's the other side of the coin, like King is saying, just because you're getting that photo into that large pool of potential viewers, you probably won't get seen unless enough reach is there to support it to raise it to the top of that hashtag. Like if I took a picture of this can and hashtag nature, it's not going to get enough reach to get onto the explore page of hashtag nature. So you're not really doing yourself any favors. As opposed to if I took the picture and used, hashtag green tea can, and it's the best picture of this green tea can anyone's ever seen, and it stays on the top page of that for 4 days. So it's a coin flip. I mean, maybe you luck out, and I feel like I've done it sometimes. Like I did it with hashtag nature once. Like I take very few nature-y pictures. They're all very cityscape. And I took one out in the woods one day and was just like, you know what, just throw in hashtag nature. And for no other reason, the only difference of any of my pictures, there was no special edit. It wasn't a particularly amazing picture.
There's not a specific hashtag for edits, is there? Like in general, there's not like a go snapshot edits. There's not one like that.
Not yet. It's a big opportunity.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
But people sometimes use Pokemon fan art or Pokemon art or Pokemon, but more artistic kind of hashtag I've seen.
Yeah, but then it kind of, if you're using that, so I guess I can argue the reason why I use Go Snapshot as a hashtag, even in my edits, is because I still feel like it's specific to Pokemon Go. And
it's the people that you want to reach.
Yeah,
it's not what you're showing. Yeah.
Exactly. And like when I say Pokemon fan art, to me, that could also be like physical art, like that range of work. Well, and if I use just fan art, then I'm kind of being stuck, and it's harder for me to be found because I'm being stuck in that category.
That's another point, yeah.
So yeah, I think, but that's the thing Pokemon Go knows, like Niantic knows people are making our sort of edits using Pokemon Go like sprites, like they know it. But they themselves should probably have a hashtag.
I think so too, but since it doesn't use their technology, like it's not their flagship technology, like it's not the camera, the setting, then it's like more obscured. Like I don't think they've ever mentioned it actually, but it's still giving them, dare say, even more eyes into that kind of content. So I think they're missing out on that, but yeah.
Definitely.
It's
lasted longer than the 20 minutes that I thought it would.
I was going to tell you once I stopped recording that when you have guests, everyone says it and no one's come under.
Yeah, that's the thing. No. I was just saying that's the thing. Every time it take a little longer.
Yeah. I mean that's a whole nother, but that is a topic for another day. Maybe if top secret plans come to fruition and we do some other stuff, it could be a topic we talk about in a safe place, because plenty of people, it's a great divide, I know, in the community between purists and edits and how much editing to a picture are you no longer really doing an AR picture, like where's the line. But I'd love to talk about that one day, but today's probably not the day, as we are creeping up already on 50 minutes. So
I have a question.
Oh, we got one more question.
Yeah.
Do one more.
About giveaways. Some of you have done giveaways. Do you feel that does grow a following? And when do you decide to do a giveaway? Does it influence?
I can answer that one if you want. I do plenty of giveaways. I don't know. Have you done a giveaway that have worked for you, King?
I've done loads of giveaways when I was starting my page. I think I did them once a month. But what I give away is a lot easier because I'm not giving a physical thing. It's usually shiny Pokemon. Let's talk for another day. But it does work, but I don't think it massively grew my page. I say like I was on 100. Let's say I'm on 500 followers. And I do a giveaway and I say, share this post or comment 3 other people. A maximum that what would happen is a lot of people would comment. I might gain like 10 followers. the competition ends, and then those 10 will probably disappear.
Just leave. Yeah.
People come in to get what they want, and then they go away. So do I think giveaways work? No, I've done them, and I feel like I do them just as a now it's more like a thank you to my followers, whoever's there for staying, but it's less to gain more people. I don't think it works.
Yeah, you should always look at giveaways as thanking people who are there.
Yeah.
If you look into other things outside of like Instagram and photography, like big game streamers and stuff, or like big people on Twitter, a lot of them won't even allow new followers to enter because they know it's a band-aid. Like, sure, you'll get people, but they'll leave as soon as they know it's over, or that it's not something you always do. I mean, if you were able to financially keep up a giveaway like every week or every month forever, then that's a different story. But as far as like, if you're hitting 1,000 followers, or you have some arbitrary goal that you want to do a giveaway at, you should definitely look at it as a reward for yourself, for the hard work you put in, and for your followers not to grow. It never works out in the long run.
I think for myself, I do a bunch, and that's because before being a content creator, I was of course a consumer of content, and I really liked like following pages that were like, I'm giving away this, So like my favorite Nintendo Switch YouTuber, his name is called his Beat 'em Ups, and he gets a lot of fan mail, and they give him games and whatever games he already has, he gives the extra copies away. So I started following him because of his content, and I really like the giveaway. So for me personally, when I started creating content, I said I really like giveaways, so I'm gonna do them. So I always do it as a thank you for reaching a certain amount of followers, or I like to do a contest or anything. I just really like prizes, like in my personal life. I just like that thing that I can win something. So that's why I do it all the time. And if I wanna like gain followers from it, it's because I want to grow the AR niche. I know that, like personally, I know that many people don't know about AR photography, and that there's a whole lot of people working on it, making amazing stuff, and that you can go to Instagram and use these hashtags and whatever, right? So since I started doing like Instagram stuff, I always said I have to help build this thing we're all building together, right? So whenever I do giveaways with big accounts that are not Go Snapshot related, it's with that kind of goal in mind, because they come into my page and they might follow me for the giveaway, but out of 1,000 people that follow me for the giveaway, 100 were like, oh, I like Go Snapshot, and that's enough for me. At least one person that goes in and, oh, okay, now this is a thing that I like. And a lot of people, a lot of hardcore like fans of mine, they always message me, and I'm like, oh, nice, whatever. And they're like, yo, I met you from a giveaway you did with whoever it is, right? And now I really like your stuff, and they're in my Discord, and they message me, and now they start taking my AR pictures. Like, I literally have a lot of people in my Discord right now that like this week start doing AR pictures because we've started posting this content and stuff. So they came to our niche because of a giveaway, but now they're staying because of the content. So I do it from both sides, but I do think they work. But I think that if you want them to work, you have to make a joint giveaway with a bigger account. If you're trying for that kind of giveaway, if you're just doing it for your followers, just do it for your followers. If you're trying to make like a big change, you have to like find a bigger page. Like that's what works for me, because when I try to do it with my intimate friends, it's because I want to keep the price between that audience. But if I want to expand the audience with that giveaway, then I have to look up for audience that I haven't expanded into. So
toady stuff.
Okay.
All right. Well, then I guess that we will wrap that up there. Already got some nice hot button topics for some future talks maybe. King, like, thank you for joining us. Hope you had a good time hanging out. Everyone else, good to see you as always. So with that, we'll call that a day. And you know, if you're watching this later, we'll be back. We'll be back with something. This group is on fire compared to some other groups that we won't mention. So probably look forward to this being up soon, and probably another video within another week or two behind it. Get back to some pictures and some edits, and we'll see you then. Other than that, y'all have a good evening.